life isn't. If you don't do something, what's stopping you now but excuses? Think about it. Endless purgatory. Welcome to Endless Purgatory. This is Tim Williams, ILC, bringing you another episode. I want to appreciate every single one of you, as always, for coming back or coming to and being a part of this. It's definitely appreciated. I appreciate every single bit of my listeners. Like I said, you could be doing anything, but you sit right here listening to me bump my gums. So I appreciate it, every bit of it. I really do. Humbly, I very much do. But I wanted to get into some topics today that pretty much is a driving force for these episodes and the episodes to come and the episodes in the past, and what really got me here today. The topics of these episodes is inspiration at the right time and redemption. Now I wanted to do this episode a long time ago, but sometimes when I do my episodes, it just really depends on my feeling, and I always write my topic. I'm always constantly thinking of topics, and I usually just put them on to the side, and then I come back and I get to them when it felt like I needed to do a certain episode at a current time. So I really wanted to get towards this one because I know a lot of things have been going on, as far as people, especially myself, and sometimes you just need to hear somebody else going through something to let you know that, hey, everything that's going on with you is okay. So, like I said, the first topic, to get it started, the first topic that I want to get into is inspiration. And inspiration definitely is the reason why I'm sitting where I'm sitting at today, recording this episode. It took a lot of starting and never quite accomplishing, the process to even getting these episodes going. And that's just kind of an example of what's going to happen in life. You're going to have a lot of those like startups, like where you getting ready to, or maybe you have the idea to do something, and that idea just sits there for months, days at a time, and you just like, at some point I'm gonna go ahead and get this going. But at some point you just need to go ahead and just stop putting it off and just do it. Now, I'm not gonna act like I'm not one of those people. I definitely have my times where I just put off to the side, and anybody that knows me knows that very well. It just takes started, and whatever inspiration, whatever took you, whatever kind of kicked you in the behind and made you just, what, screw it, today I'm just gonna go ahead and knock it out. Like whatever it is, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it and just stop putting it off, because I just got to get it done. And getting it done was something that the person that inspired me did very well, and that was my mom. Now, my mom is one of my top inspirations, and a lot of what she taught me is to kind of learn how to hang back and analyze things. I didn't really understand it at first, because, like I said, my mom, the way she raised me, she did what she felt was best, how she felt I need to be raised, and I appreciate her for that. But one of the things I know I picked up a lot from her is how, not so much to worry. Mom does worry a lot, and rightfully so, but I use it as a sense of learning how to kind of hang back and analyze things a lot better, and to not necessarily do things because maybe the next person does it, or because, it's something that's trendy or whatever, but just kind of really make my own wave, make my own decisions as far as like how I want to do things, and not necessarily just kind of flow with the current, but make my own splash. And that's something that I forever became as a person, to not really necessarily go against the grain, but go against, not go with the grain, but go against it, or just be me. And people that know me would, ask me all the time, like, what do you want to do? Or what, I mean, a lot, I am doing what I want to do. you know, I'm doing what everybody isn't doing. And that made me me. And I love being that way. It's not just doing what everybody else felt like was, the thing that needed to be done, or the thing that everybody else is doing. But I just appreciate just being different. And shit, that inspired me to want to do something different every time. And it made me want to look at other things, like not make myself feel boxed in, like I have to do this specific thing. No, I could do whatever I want to do. I could do whatever I feel like I could put my mind to, or whatever I feel like I can make a podcast, I can make beats, like I can drive a truck, I can do all these different things that I put my mind to, because I just woke up one day and say, you know what, that's what I feel like doing. Period. I remember my first episode, before I even put it out, and I just kind of sat on it, like, and I did it, so, like, it wasn't. I didn't have really too many edits or nothing like that. It was just all, I just flowed, and I just felt like it was the topics that was being had. It just, I just need to talk about it, and I went and I got me like um, this little cheap mic. I had a Chromebook from school that anyway, yeah, I had a Chromebook from school that I had, and I took that little mic and I plugged it up, and I had a wireless keyboard and a mouse, and I made something happen. I said, you know what, today I'm not gonna wait anymore. I'm gonna go ahead and just get this thing rolling, and I'm not gonna wait anymore. Like I just feel like I need to talk about it. And that first episode, I felt like was a success. I feel like it was a success because I just got somebody to listen. To me, I was happy with that. I could have got one listener. I could have got one person to take their time to listen to my episode, and I'd have been happy. I'd been extremely happy about it, you know. And it happened. And I said, I'm gonna make the next episode and the next episode, and it just goes from there. Like, I don't care how many people that sit down and take the time to listen. I appreciate all of it. And I wanted to also take that to say, like, don't never let something hold you back. Even if I would have recorded and I would have got no listeners, right? If nobody would listen, nobody would even took the time to even listen to the episode. Don't let that. I wouldn't have let that bog me down, um, too much. I'm not gonna say I would have been bummed out. I'm not gonna lie. Like, of course, you want to feel good about something that you're doing, something that drives you to want to do something. Of course, you want to feel like you're getting something out of it, but it just depends on how you want to focus certain things, and understand that you know things don't always come right away, which is going to lead to my next topic, but we'll get to it. Things are going to come right away, and people always want it right now. Maybe you sit down and you're tired of things just being the way it is, and you don't want to just change. No, it has to start somewhere. It can't just happen. Some people get lucky, and yeah, it just happens. I mean, they probably at the right place, or whatever, but it just happened. Lucky for them. But for the mass majority, that's not always the case. But it can. The inspiration doesn't necessarily have to come from a person. This is just one example. I'm using myself as a vessel to maybe be a driving force of somebody else, but it could necessarily come from me. It could necessarily come from, a different person. It could come from a thing. It may come from maybe a past incident or something that, something you maybe said as a child, and you said, you know what, maybe I always wanted to do that thing, but it just never happened. I always wanted to be like, a firefighter. I mean, maybe I saw a fire hat a plastic fire hat on the ground one day. I said, you know what, I want to be a firefighter. And you grew up and became a plant worker. Nothing wrong with that. You did what you had to do, but things happened, time went on and you forgot. And then next thing you know, you might have saw that same plastic hat somewhere else randomly, and it probably just struck you mentally like, oh, that's right. I remember when I used to want to. Well, saying you remember when you used to want to can turn to, you know what, I think I'm going to. It can be just that easy. Always remember that you only get one life in this world. One single life. You get one chance to do this right. And it's not always going to be right, but you get one chance to do anything involved with it before you go. You might want to utilize that time to make sure it's things that you know you want to do. I mean, no offense to nobody, and I hope it doesn't come off that way, but if you're sitting at the place that you can't stand being, how would you feel if you just dropped right there and that was it? Is that really what you want to happen? Like, do you want it to just happen right then and there? Just drop right where you at, and you didn't get to accomplish none of the things you wanted to do. Think about that. Now, inspiration can always come from something unexpected. It could be a person, maybe it could be somebody you like, somebody you hate, somebody you just met, and maybe it might have been something specific that they said and it just really just stuck inside your mind. And you just said, for some reason, like, why can't I just get this out of my mind? Why does this keep playing in my head over and over and over again? Like, it's something, it just keeps calling to me. Pay attention to stuff like that. Pay attention. Because those things, if it's like it's happening for a reason. If those things that's playing in your mind or give you that off feeling in your gut, it's like it's telling you like, hey, this is probably something that you want to do because it feels scary. Most things that don't feel comfortable are more likely the things that you should probably move towards anyway. Everybody wants to get, hop in their comfort zone and be placed there, and because it feels right, right? You want to hop in that comfort zone and just go on about how things are quote unquote supposed to be. But what about what you want to do, right? Now, at the same time, I would say it's important for those ideas. If you do have ideas and you do have something that you want to start up and you do have something that may be driving you to want to do something, never lose sight of that. Write it down. I don't know how many times I've had different ideas or I've had to start writing stuff down in my book or my journal where I write my podcast notes. About just writing stuff down. I'd hate it having. I so many good topics that I had that I just lost because I didn't write down. Same thing with something that you want to do. Even if it doesn't happen today, let's say you wrote it down when you thought about it right then and there. Even if it doesn't happen today, when you do come back to it, you're gonna look back and say like, "Oh yeah, I forgot I said this, or I forgot I wrote this." Right? Now you can now that fire inside you starts burning again. 'Cause you're like, oh yeah, I need to get back to that. I need to go ahead and do that. I don't know how many times that has happened to me where I've written something down and I'm like, oh dang, yep, I did. I was gonna talk about that and came back to it. So with that being said, whatever's inside you, whatever whatever catches your attention, whatever you felt you knew you want to do, don't waste time. and worrying about the what ifs or the whatnots. Just do it. Just do it. That's my message to you as far as is something inspiring you. Just simply just do it and stop. Put it off because anything could happen and you'll never get it done. And you don't want to, it won't matter at that point. Whether you get it done or not, it won't even matter. So enjoy it while you can. This next topic I really want to touch on because I know it's something that I know that I sometimes continue to struggle with to this day regarding certain things. And that thing is patience. And I know there's a lot of people that struggle with that same issue. The last thing anything anybody really wants to hear is that they have to wait on something. It could be something that you said in your mind, you know what, at this certain time, this is going to happen. At that certain time, that's going to happen. Like you're just planning out, that when things are going to happen when you say they are. And I know most people probably find out that it doesn't quite work out that way. And it didn't, so a lot of things never happen right when you said they were going to happen. Let's say, for example, I say, hey, by the time I'm 50, this and this and this is going to happen, right? Okay, how do I know that? How do I know it's going to happen? Now, if you're just an immaculate person at planning out things and you just know for a fact, these X amount of years, this specific thing is going to happen right away, man, you good. Hey, my hat's off to you. You good. But I can tell you, most people, it doesn't work out that way. We would love it to. I would love to be able to write down and say like, hey, if I just wrote down into the universe that, hey, I'm gonna write this list of these things that's gonna happen, and every single one of those things are gonna happen as I numbered it at this time. I mean, you're a prophet. Hey, hey, like I said, I would love for certain things to happen when I wanted to happen, but things are just set up to happen when they're supposed to happen. And a lot of people either don't want to or don't take the time to come to grips with terms that that's how things are just going to be, and that you literally just have to wait. One of the things that most people can't stand hearing is wait when it comes to anything. I can't stand hearing it. I'm a very impatient person, but I also understand sometimes I don't have a choice. It just and knowing that you don't have control whether something happens right away or not is something that you just have to keep in mind and focus on what you have currently and how to set that up for when something something that you want to happen or something that's coming up for you to happen, is knowing when to make the opportunity to go ahead and strike on that. And not let yourself even stress yourself on certain things. Like the worst thing you could do possible, and I had to learn this, the worst thing you could do possible is stress your mind about something that hasn't even happened yet, by predicting when something's going to happen and focusing on that and making yourself think constantly like, man, I can't wait for this to happen. I can't wait for it, man. This certain time, I just know this is going to happen. And then the process that you have planned out for when that thing to happen, it starts falling apart. It just leads to more frustration. You get much more frustration, and you start getting sidetracked, start getting bothered by things that you normally would get bothered by. Why? Because you put this stressor inside your mind about something that hasn't even got here yet. So why do it? Let things mature and grow when it's supposed to. And just watch over every now and then. If you know you have something that you got planned, or you know you have something that you want to do, or something that you want set to happen in the future, just take care of the things currently so that when that timing does come up, you can be ready for it. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking like, yo, okay, that sounds good and all, but yo, right now still sucks. Like I'm still in this situation. I still want what I want now. I still want it to be fixed. And I get it. I mean, but at the same time you have to sit back and think to yourself, like, how many times have something bad happened and then you learn from it? And then after that storm has passed and you look back like, damn, I'm glad I went through that. I'm glad I waited. I'm glad whatever happened to me at that time or whatever I was going through at that time, it it happened so that way I can really appreciate when my time comes, like when I really get my time and I get there, you appreciate and you are completely humble in the situation that you're in. And you appreciate everything that you've learned along the way. And to me, like I said, it's still at the end of the day, I know it's hard. I mean, trust me, I've been in so many different situations that I mean, like we all have been in different situations that you just look back and you just say like, man, like why did I have to go through all this just to get to where I'm at? But it's a process, and that's just how life works sometimes, and that's just how things are gonna be until you finally get what you want. I mean, but the best thing you could probably do through all of that is just to be positive. Try to be positive the best way you can and try to have a different outlook on certain things and not let what is bothering you currently bog you down and put you in a rut and just make you just look at everything and just be grumpy about every damn thing. Trust me, I know that feeling. I definitely know that feeling. It just makes you sometimes it just makes you miserable. And you don't even sometimes you don't even want to be like that. You just like, why can't I just appreciate why can't I just appreciate today? Like why can't I just, look forward to today and and when time comes I can just be happy then too. You can. It just really depends up to you on if you want to be like that. Like why sit there and let yourself be be brought down by stuff, like I said earlier, that hasn't even begun to even happen yet. Why do that to yourself? Why do it to the people around you, the people that care about you? Because they're looking at you too. So with that being said, it's gonna be okay. Just wait it out. When that time comes, it'll be there. Appreciate today and know that things always happen for a reason and they always happen at the right time. Before we get into the final topic, please take a moment to listen to this sponsored ad. Thank you. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. You know, when I was a kid, I used to think about a lot of things regarding like even like very early as a kid, I used to think about like what kind of mark do I want to leave on this earth? Like when I grow up, what are people gonna say about me? When I do whatever I want to do in life, or when I pass in this life, or or even as today as an adult, I sit back and I think about like I used to think very hard about what do I want people, or how do I want people to, you know, think about me after I'm gone, or if I felt like did I do enough to make people say like, yeah, he did everything. He was a good dude. He did everything he said he was gonna do. He took care of the family, all that stuff. And at some point, I said, I don't need to worry about that. I have to look at, or I had to look at, I to not look at that. That what I do in this world is got to be for me. I mean, and I say that too as somebody listening. Like, same thing for you. What you do on this earth, it has to be for you. You don't need to prove it to nobody but yourself. The redemption is not what you do for somebody else, is what you do for yourself. The people are gonna make their feelings, or they're gonna have their memories based off of what they felt they got from you. And there's nothing for you to really worry about it, because after everything's said and done, it's not gonna matter anyway. Just know that you are doing what you're doing for yourself. And if you feel right at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. Think about any bad situation you've been in and how you made it out. That's that bad situation. And you proved to yourself, or you defied the odds and said, like, yeah, I beat that. I beat that thing that was really getting to me, or I beat that bad spot that I put myself in, or that I was put in, and I made it out, and I made something happen. Your story doesn't begin with what you do, or what people think you should do, or people think that you should have done. Your story begins with you. It always has. It begins with you and it ends with you, no matter what. So write your own story. Don't let nobody write it for you. Even if you felt like you failed at something, and you felt like all hope was lost and there was nothing you could do, at some point take a step back and look around, and just look at people. Just analyze people, and you can see people for who they are. You can see, like, okay, this person's doing this person's on this building, that person does this. But really look at people. Really look at people and look at them and say, this is just a whole bunch of imperfect people. Every single one of them. Not one single human being is perfect at all. Neither are you. So with that being said, understand that everybody has gone through something. Everybody has did something in their life. Everybody has gone through something in their life, and that made them where they are today. Like, a lot of people didn't just, all of a sudden just find success out of the blue. A lot of people worked really hard for that. Really, really hard. And you're only seeing the success today. Not what it took to get there. For example, like from episode 1 up until this current episode 5, like, I'm just keeping note. Like, I'm keeping note from the first episode that I did over to the second one, to the third one, to the fourth. I kept proving to myself, like, I could do better. I could do this just a little bit better. I could fix this. I want to tweak that. Or I don't like the sound of that. Let me fix that. Or I want to change that. Ooh, you know what? I think I want to make a beat. And I learned how to make beats. I did it for me. I felt good about it. I felt really, really good about it, knowing that I did something that I didn't even think I was even going to get into. And it made me feel good that when I get to where I'm at and listen to it now, I'm like, I really love the sound of what I'm listening to right now. And I feel so grateful for myself. Like, I'm happy for myself. I'm grateful for the people around me. But it took me to do what I want to do, what I felt right to me, and prove it to my own self that I can do this a little bit better, or I can improve, or I want more. I hated not I hated just settling. That that's one of some of the things that just annoy me with certain things or certain people sometimes is that just, I mean, and no offense to some people, like I get you are who you are. If you're comfortable, cool, that's up to you. But settling just to say like, well, this is what, this is how it's gonna be. Like, no, I wanted to change that for myself, and I wanted to do something different. I understood that I had a voice, and I wanted to use it. So I did something about it, and I started writing things down, and I did it for me, and it feels good, and I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna keep doing it until I can't do it no more. And whether people take something from it and it makes their day, hey, to me, hey, that's a bonus. And and I'm happy that I was able to provide that for you, even if it's entertainment or just an open ear, or I helped make your mind, make the gears turn just a little bit. Hey, I did my due diligence, and I feel good about it. But at the end of the day, I've been doing it for me. This is my venting process. Like this is what makes me feel good at the end of the day. And if me making myself feel good and make somebody else feel good, then hey, that's a plus. But with that being said, this is the end of the episode. As always, I want to say stay safe, stay sane, and secure in your mind. Release. If you made it to the end of this, I definitely appreciate you. Or you just really like the beat. Anyway, either way, if you really enjoy the content or you look forward to more content going forward, if you want to, you can become a supporter. I'm not asking you to, but it's highly appreciated. It doesn't cost much of nothing at all. From $1 to $5 or $10, it's up to you. All you have to do is go to anchor.fm/TamilDeeps/support. That's ANCHOR .fm/TIMIL hyphen DEEPS/support. And don't worry, even if you didn't catch all that, still, I'm gonna put the link in the description on my podcast to my podcast page. So don't worry. But I'm out for real this time. Release.